Hi, everyone. My name is Van. I use she, her pronouns.
And my name is Jiggy. I also use she, her, hers.
And welcome to the To Keep It a Buck podcast. Yes. Woo, woo, woo.
To Keep It a Buck is a Black podcast led by young people that engage in conversations with Black, marginalized, and disadvantaged communities. We'll be inviting folks on the show to address and unpack intergenerational trauma, mental health trauma, and to promote mental health wellness in unison with our peers and community.
Period. To Keep It a Buck is a monthly podcast that will be talking with community members ranging from health professionals to artists to discuss mental health, personal experiences, and joy. We also would like to welcome folks to use our tools as a platform of their own. Pass the Mic is a segment of the To Keep It a Buck podcast where we'll be inviting those who are interested in sharing or hosting an episode on their own of anything that they choose.
Period.
One of my intentions for the podcast, I would say, is to ease folks into the conversation of talking about mental health in a setting that may be a little more comfortable than like running straight to the therapist. But we is trying to get you to go see the lady. But yeah, one of the things that has helped me a lot in my own mental health journey is talking with friends and talking on a more interpersonal level. So I would hope that my participation in the podcast can help people talk about mental health. Period,
Van. My intentions are pretty similar. Just want to create space to talk about healing and what that looks like, and to also speak about like our own experiences on our mental health journey, because it looks a lot different for a lot of people. And just, have fun and get you to see the lady.
Have fun. I agree completely, 100%. If we make mistakes, we welcome check-ins, critiques, information, feedback on our own dialogue or any of our future guests' dialogue. If we didn't vet someone, if they have a personal history that we weren't aware of and you know something that we don't, please let us know. We would love to know.
Also, this space is just as much it is yours as it is ours. So speak up, come kick it.
Speak up, come kick it, retweet.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? I'm Momo. My pronouns are he, him.
Hi, I'm Awa Malley, and my pronouns are she, her, and they, them. At To Keep It a Buck, we are creating space for folks to come as they are at any point of their mental health journey and knowledge to discuss such a difficult and confusing topic like mental health.
So we have house rules, expectations for us and for y'all to hold ourselves accountable and for y'all too. So starting no homophobia, no transphobia, no misogynoir, no ableism, no classism, none of that. Like, leave that at the door. Don't even leave that at the door because we'll jump you. Like, none of that.
You can't even leave it at the door. We're going to come and get it. It can't be in a 2-mile radius of the podcast. We are not mental health professionals. None of us that are speaking on the podcast are. We will be having mental health professionals and health professionals come on the podcast, but from our perspective, we are speaking from life experience and research, and we will be stating that when we're speaking from those perspectives. We welcome input and recommend folks to check out the descriptions before and after the podcast for updates and retractions, just in case we have more information or want to take out things and, just further expand on what we talked about within the podcast. So please look in the titles and descriptions of each episode that you're going to be viewing for trigger warnings and other information.
So we'd love to have y'all on the show. You can email us for inquiries to be a guest or for any resources or to promote at tokeepitabuck@gmail.com. And you can also find us on social media at tokeepitabuck on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok too.
Renegade. My intention for this podcast and for myself is to just create a space where people can talk about health issues, mental health, anything going on with them without it being taboo, a faux pas, a shock. I just really want to normalize people talking about things that are going on with them and just their life. I don't want it to be such a big deal or such an extreme when people talk about what's going on with them. I want people to feel comfortable to bring it up anytime, any place, anywhere.
Yeah, my intentions would definitely be the same. Also, is like we all have things we want to articulate in our heads, and just like being able to talk with other people, hear about other people's stories, journeys, that just kind of helps us understand what we're going through more, and just being able to relate with others. Also, like, I just love hearing people's stories and just like getting to know more about people. So that's just an amazing opportunity through this podcast. And also, I'll be working on the video editing, so that's one part of the podcast that I'll be a part of. But hopefully I could talk at some points too.
Yes, I too will be behind the scenes doing technical stuff and such, but I will be stopping by to talk whenever I feel like I have something to add.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isak Dua.
You already cut me off.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isak Dua. My pronouns are he, him.
My name is Remy Dua. My pronouns are he, him.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the origins of the
Okay.
podcast. So after George Floyd's murder last summer and the civil unrest that ensued after it and all the madness, a couple times throughout the events, we sat down and talked a little bit about starting some kind of podcast or a way to get people's stories out. And then, you know, our long-term vision was we wanted to make something that was mental health focused. So, you know, people could come together and have a space to speak on topics they wanted to really destigmatize the topic of mental health in the Black community specifically. So it'd be easier for people to, first of all, you know, step into this field and, you know, get the help they need. So that's kind of the origin story, right?
Yes, indeed. The notion of the podcast came for many reasons. One, over the summer, we spent a lot of time at the George Floyd Square and also around Lake Calhoun, especially in the evening where we all gathered. And I watched my son Isaac and his friends, who, you know, by extension are my children. I've known them for many years. And it was quite painful to see how much anger was circulating in the community. So once I was at George Floyd and I said, George, what do you want us to do? My background is not into nonprofit, never done it before. And out of nowhere, I started drafting a vision for the nonprofit that will be another addition to honor George Floyd. And hence was created the nonprofit that we called 846S. And so I decided to talk to my son and his friend, and we came up with the creation of this nonprofit organization. And the nonprofit has several aspects to it. The first one has to do, of course, with identifying mental health in communities where people have not had the chance to talk to a professional about the issues. So there's an element of training about mental health 101. The second piece was about, you know, the podcast, which is very important is in getting the peers talk about it amongst themselves. And us adults will be in the background and helping in any shape or form. We both, you know, we're just like servant to the youth, because everything in my vision was about the youth leading the adults in their own journey through, you know, self-resiliency, awareness. And the last piece is what I thought we could do is what I call the Festival of Ideas. And that's something that we could do every summer to commemorate George Floyd on his anniversary. And so these are the three pillars of what 846 stands for. And today, of course, we're talking about the podcast, which is at the pillar of everything that we do. And I'm so fortunate to see my children here taking the lead, and as adults, you know, being behind the scene and helping you guys.